Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm finally able to get out here to test drive the 2025 Tesla Model Y Juniper. Now, if you've been paying attention to the channel, a few weeks ago, we did the reveal on the Model Y Juniper that was at a very special event. Tesla, I'm going to put a link to that video. If you look right up here, you'll be able to see that. And we went through all of the different features of the Model Y, and we talked about all the different nuances of it and the things that, made it quite special from what it was. Well, today we're going to go out and take a test drive and see how it compares to the old vehicle. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you back in just a moment. So finally, we get to take a ride in the Model Y Juniper. So here we are in the car. It's a Model Y, make no mistake about it. But there are definitely some differences from the old version of the Model Y. And I gotta say, I'm really liking it. Off the rip, what I notice, aside from the nice comfortable seats, is up here on the dash. The dash happens to have a nice Alcantara feel to it. I guess Tesla has gone on this whole Alcantara kick, especially since the Cybertruck. So they've brought that to the Model Y Juniper for sure. So it's no longer the little wooden plastic dash that's up there. It's now Alcantara, which it's a nice touch. I kind of like it. But if you've ever driven the Model 3 Highland or the Cybertruck, you'll be right at home here in the Juniper Launch Series. And oh, by the way, it is a launch series, but if you're looking for launch mode, you may be out of luck. Try not to confuse the two. So it's a really nice ride. I feel like I'm in the Model 3 Highland for real. So we're getting ready to go ahead and take a test drive here, see how it feels. I'm really looking forward to the great new suspension they've put on this vehicle. The other thing that I noticed immediately in this vehicle is how quiet it is. It's actually quite noisy outside, but in here, the sound is very much dead, and I feel like I'm almost in a sound studio, truth be told. And that's because of the acoustic glass Tesla has installed on the Juniper version. And to give you an idea, if I roll the window down and roll it back up, there's a difference. Night and day, what's outside. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't look like it would do that just from the outside of the car. But whatever they did with this acoustic glass did a very good job. And it's nice and quiet here. So we're going to go ahead and take a test drive and see how it feels and listen how it feels as well. So let's go. I've programmed in a destination for us. Just like most of the hardware for vehicles, except for the Cybertruck, hint, nod, we can start FSD from park. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, so we get to start FSD from park here. So we're just going to press and hold. So it's navigating out of the parking lot here. It's a pretty tight parking lot, truth be told. Not bad. I have to say I'm impressed because this would trip up some people that I know. Here we go. Yes, definitely quieter. Much quieter than what I'm used to, even in the Cybertruck. Suspension feels good. It doesn't feel like I am feeling every single bump in the road, because if anybody that knows me in the Model Y, we do not have a good history together. I've always disliked that vehicle because of the suspension and the way that it handled. It was absolutely horrid. I could feel every darn bump in the road, and my back was not very appreciative of that vehicle, truth be told. This is a whole other animal. This is on par with the Model 3 performance suspension in terms of the ride comfort, and actually I would say it's on par with the Cybertruck suspension, which is a huge leg up from what it normally does. And so I'm liking this. Yeah, really liking it. Let's check out some of the dynamics here. What do we got? Chill, sport. That's one thing that they've put in here, which is new to the Model Y Juniper, is the deceleration, basically the regenerative braking in the vehicle. And you can have normal deceleration in terms of regenerative braking. But for those that aren't familiar with Teslas and they are not used to driving with regen braking, there's an option to hit reduced for reduced regenerative braking. And it's kind of, think of it as a training mode to help get you used to regenerative braking. And then you can go ahead and put it in standard once you really get used to it. So they've added that into the Juniper. This is the only one that I've seen that on. Now, just driving the vehicle is actually pretty nice. I'm sitting up a lot higher than the Model 3. Obviously, I'm sitting up Model 3, but it really feels like the Model 3 Highland in terms of driving around. And I think it handles a little bit better in some spots. But I'm also sitting up a lot higher than the Model 3. Model 3 has you down really close to the ground. This one has you sitting up because it's supposed to be a crossover SUV of sorts. And so it actually feels like an SUV now. It's feeling really good. I've gotten so used to using the buttons, it's taking a minute for me to get used to the turn stalks again. Tesla, please keep the buttons. Pretty please. It has nice smooth acceleration. And on the dynamics, I believe the steering weight, just like every other vehicle, every other Model 3 or sexy model, you can change it. I just can't get over how quiet it is. This is the number one feature of this car, I really believe, is how acoustically quiet this vehicle really is. So not only are the outside noises dampened, the noises that the motors normally make, because all the electric motors, they produce some amount of sound from them, they're actually quieter as well. Now, I don't think they've actually quieted the motors down. Maybe they have. I'm not sure. But you can definitely tell where they have dampened the sound from the motors in the car. So when I put my foot down on the accelerator, I can feel the car accelerating. I can hear the motors starting to spool up, but they're not nearly as loud as what they would be in the old Y for sure. The old Y would definitely be whining. It would be louder. It's not bad, but it was definitely louder. Here, it's a nice, pleasant hum, which is nice. All right, we got FSD engaged again. We're going to see how it does. Also, kind of important, this has not been me driving the vehicle. I'm sure this has been other people. But since the last charge, the vehicle's driven 79 miles. It's used 26 kilowatt hours and is averaging 330 watt hours per mile, which for a Model 3 or Model Y, that's actually pretty respectable. The Cybertruck usually gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 410 watt hours per mile. I've noticed the Model 3 is somewhere in the neighborhood of 310, 330. The Model Y is somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's actually doing pretty well. And that's assuming, I'm sure people have been accelerating in this vehicle quite a bit. Right now, we're averaging 263 watt hours per mile, but I've also not put my foot into the vehicle either. So we'll see what happens. Oh my. Okay, this was my fault. I sent it the wrong direction because I was manually driving it and turned at the wrong light. I should have just engaged FSD and left it. Would have been a lot simpler. On the upside, however, we get to go get on the interstate for a minute. Let's see how it gets on the interstate. So, I've been harping a lot on the sound in the vehicle, how quiet the vehicle is. But what I'm also going to talk about is how loud, or pleasantly loud, the vehicle could be. The stereo has a 16 speaker surround sound system in it. It's actually really premium compared to the previous versions. With all those speakers and the way that it sounds, and also you get a subwoofer, most importantly. It works out really, really well. So now that you get the great acoustics inside the cabin, now you have a great sound system to accompany. Very nice. FSD is doing its job as usual. Ooh, let's see what it does here, because we got construction up here, and we've got to make a right turn at this light. So it believes it's going to make a right turn at the light, and it's going around the cones. Now, one of the things I would... Oh, somebody... Oops. That's what happens when you ignore cones, I guess. Oh, well, and I got to say, that's probably fresh asphalt, so that's probably not the greatest idea. Yeah. So what I was going to say was, there's been several videos, especially out of China, about the water cup challenge on the Juniper, where the guys would take a cup of water and sit it on the windowsill here. I'm not doing that right now, mainly because, well, I don't have a cup of water. But I can tell you right now, the suspension and the feeling in the car, I don't feel like I am being jerked from side to side. The FSD is engaged. It's driving very smoothly. I don't feel like I'm getting rocked. I'm firmly planted into the seat. The seats are nice and comfy. They feel really good. Nice soft leather. We'll see what happens. So here we go, around the construction zone to make the right turn. What? It figured it out. The bumps were there, but they were nice and soft. All in all, this is a great driving vehicle. What can I say? If you like Teslas, if you're familiar with Teslas, and you own a Model Y, you need to upgrade. This is a night and day experience between the previous Model Y and the Juniper. Night and day. Some of the other interior accoutrements, which happen to be in the Model Y Juniper that's not in the standard Model Y, is the accent lighting that goes along the door panel. They're turned off right now. It's the middle of the daytime, so you can't really see it. If I were to get out the car and turn them on, just like you have in the Model 3 Highland and in the Cybertruck, you have those same accent lights. Same thing here. It makes it look really nice. Definitely adds something to the interior of the vehicle. So Tesla has really gone all out to make a lot of these interiors feel exactly the same, whether it be the Model 3, the Model Y, and I have to assume the Model S and the X are going to follow in suit when they refresh those models at the end of the year. So I'm pretty confident that this is what those vehicles are going to look like at this point. The upper glass, it is an infrared protecting glass. So even though you have this huge piece of glass on the roof, we're not feeling the heat in here. It's not nearly as hot as you would think it would be. So it's reflecting a lot of those infrared rays. Now, me personally, on my Model 3, I have put up a UV protectant clear PPF film to cut down on the UV rays, because while you can block infrared rays, which is great, UV rays are the things that, ages your skin and ages the leather in the vehicle, and you really want to protect against that. So I highly recommend putting the UV film. And I put that not only on the top, but I also put it on the front windshield as well. You'll notice the rearview mirror up here, but it's starting to remind me of the Cybertruck. And what I mean by that is that the mirror is, it's small, which is okay, but my actual view through the mirror out the back window is very limited. There is a view, okay? But it is extremely limited as to what I can see out that rearview mirror. So it really reminds me of the Cybertruck in that aspect. But at the same time, I've removed the rearview mirror out of my Cybertruck, so it doesn't have one anymore because, well, I don't need it. That's the truth of the matter. I really don't need that rearview mirror. So do I need it here? Well, not really. In any case, we're going to go ahead and park the car. We're going to execute a self-park. That's also interesting. They should even show the red glow on the ground. If you look at it real carefully, there's a red glow behind the car. Typically at night, you can see the red glow on the ground behind the car that's being shown. But we're in the middle of the daytime here, so I guess that's just letting you know that it's lit up. That's the only... It has nothing to do with safety in this scenario. It has everything to do with the fact that it's just on. Kind of like you can see the headlights when they're on. They'll show on the screen as well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually select the spot to park at, and we're going to let it auto park. Well, it backed into the spot just perfectly. It was actually a really good park. So FSD is definitely doing its job. The car drives great. I mean, I'm really loving the way that the car drives. This is a significant improvement over the last Model Y. Highly recommend it. If you've ever driven a Model 3 Highland, it's like that, just bigger. That's what this vehicle is. And they've refined the Tesla brand, so to speak. They've refined what the Tesla is going to feel like with the Juniper. I think they got it right on the Model 3 Highland. They have extended all of the accoutrements and the features of the Model 3 Highland into the Model Y Juniper, which I think was a bold move. Very good move. They've even added a few extra touches. Like I said, the Alcantara dash. But basically, if I didn't know better, if I didn't realize I was sitting up a little bit higher, I would swear I'm in a Model 3 sitting in the front of this vehicle. So for instance, I even got my same armrest here. Same armrest is here. I've got the same drawers that I would have here on the Model Y. They operate the exact same way. Everything's exactly where I would expect it to be. All the controls, the screen, everything. It all feels normal and very familiar, and it feels great, really. So here we are in the outside of the vehicle. It's actually a really great color. I love the look of the color. And once again, I use a lot of comparisons to the Model 3 Highland, and I think those comparisons are still quite valid because if you look at it from the profile view, it does kind of look like a Model 3, just bigger, okay? The paint job looks exquisite. The wheels are very nice. So one of the things I noted last time we were in the showroom, this cover right here is covering the hub of the wheel. It's a plastic cover that can come off of here. And I foresee a lot of different accessories that are going to wind up going on this wheel, truth be told. As we go ahead and go around the car, you still have your same cameras. One of the things I am noticing that I've not seen anybody mention is the tint on the rear windows. I don't recall seeing tint on any of the rear windows coming from the factory at Tesla. There's nothing on the front windows, but on the rear windows, yes, they are tinted. So that's quite a new thing. When we come around to the back, once again, because this is the launch series, you have the launch logo here. You have the nice Tesla emblem. And under here, this is where you would have the red light being reflected onto the ground. Because I doubt you can see it, but there's a light in here, and it actually reflects upwards and reflects down onto this panel before it actually hits the ground. And so at night, you'll be able to see the red light. It just looks cool. So let's go ahead and take a look in here. So we have all of this luggage space. It's a little bit smaller than the original Model Y in terms of the under trunk space, but not by much, not anything that I noticed for real. You have the spot in the middle, you have the spot on the sides, you got plenty of space to put your stuff. And in fact, if you look real closely, you got spots off the side here. And I wonder if, I think this, yes, it does. This spot lifts up as well. There's not much there, truth be told, but it's there if you need it. But most importantly, we want to look at the seats, because these things actually go down. They actually move the front seats forward, if they can move forward. I actually have some stuff on the front floor of the vehicle in front of the passenger seat, and that has prevented the front seat from moving. So there are sensors up there. This car is smart enough to know that there's stuff up there that it doesn't want to smash, and therefore it won't move the seat forward. And that's why the back seat only went partially down, because in order for it to go all the way down, the passenger seat would have to move all the way forwards first, and then the back seat can go down. That's actually pretty smart. So if I just thought it was if somebody was sitting in the seat, and I guess that's not the case. It's not just if somebody's sitting in the seat, it's if you have anything on the floor. So that works too. Not only are you able to put the seats down, but guess what? You can also raise them back up. Remotely. Isn't that cool? So, sitting in the back seat, there's a switch on the side of the seat that you didn't have before. And this is one of the coolest switches ever in the back seat of anybody's car. A few high-end cars have this. So when you press this switch, you get to recline. Probably like 2 inches, but you still get to recline. So I recline in the back seat, which is really cool. And then you can put it back up again. Now, I'm 6'3". I was just in this driver's seat in a very comfortable position. I have not moved this seat at all. I am sitting behind the same seat. My knees are okay. I'm pretty comfortable. So when I put the seat down, you saw this, the driver's seat move forward. But when I put the seat back up, the driver's seat moves back into the position that it was in before it started. Which is actually really cool because it remembers the seat position and all that, even if you put it on easy entry. There's room for 5 people. Once again, we have the rear screen available here in the new Model Y Juniper, just like in the Model 3 Highland, which we did not have in the original Model Ys. I cannot stress to you how great of an addition that is. Also, if you notice here, we have the USB-C ports. If you remember, I installed USB ports in the rear seat of the Cybertruck. It's not that the Cybertruck did not have USB-C ports in the back. It does, but they were way underneath here, which, you know, most people didn't even notice that they were there, let alone be able to use them. I installed an aftermarket accessory, which moved it up here. These USB-C ports here are actually an upgrade. So it's actually really nice. Now, just like in the Model 3 Highland, you have your nice video games. You can sit back here and play all day long. You can watch your videos back here. You can go to YouTube and watch YouTube videos. And you can do this while driving now, mind you, because you're in the rear seat. You don't have the video up front. So if you have people that are traveling with you, they can watch all the videos, play the video games in the back seat. It's actually a really nice feature, just like in a Cybertruck and the Model 3 Highland. What we're going to do, just go to the front. I'm going to open a frunk. So here we are at the frunk. It's a nice large frunk, but this is also a wet dry frunk. And you'll notice that there's a drain cap in there where you can actually put water in there and, you know, or put ice in here, and you have a drain plug to drain the water out of the frunk. Just like the rear of the Cybertruck, you can go ahead and use it for washing stuff in or utilizing it to store ice to put all your drinks in when you're tailgating. So that's a really cool feature as well. Just like the other 3s and Ys, still have the manual frunk. 2-in push. One major difference between the new Juniper previous Model Ys is you have a front bumper camera now. A lot of speculation as to why you have this front bumper camera, most of which have to do with FSD, self-parking, and things of that nature. So now it gives you a full 180-degree view from side to side on the vehicle as the vehicle has gone down the road, which is very helpful for FSD, for sure. One of the defining features of the Model Y Juniper is the front accent light bar, just like the Cybertruck. And I suspect, this is just a guess, that all of the future vehicles are going to have that accent light bar. So when they refresh the Model S and X, I'd be surprised if it wasn't there for those as well. Let's face it, it's cool. It really is. So the interior of this vehicle is actually really nice. And I want to call attention to the attention to detail of the doors. Because if you look at the doors, they're unlike several of the other vehicles. And in fact, I'd say it has more in common with the Cybertruck because you have the white trim there with some of the gray trim that flows right on into the speaker that's in the door. I got to tell you, that is some very, very nice styling. Okay, so where does this vehicle fall in Tesla's lineup? What do I actually think about this vehicle and how you should drive it and who is it made for? I have my Cybertruck, which I think is great for people that, have things to haul, or you just want to carry a lot of stuff, or you just really want to look cool. It's really a high-end, classy vehicle. It really is. The Model 3 Highland, and we're talking about the hardware 4 vehicles here. I'm leaving the S and the X out of this purposefully. The Model 3 Highland, specifically the performance model, you know what? That's just a fun car to drive. I mean, you hug the curves, it has the acceleration, the stopping power. It's a race car, okay? Let's call it for what it is. That Model 3 Performance is a race car. Model Y launch series. Where does that fit on the spectrum? Well, it's your daily driver. Not that any of the other 2 cars couldn't be your daily driver. I mean, heck, I use my Cybertruck as a daily driver all the time. This is more practical. This isn't as flashy as the Cybertruck. This is not a race car like the Model 3 Performance. No, it's not that kind of vehicle. This is a family vehicle when you have kids, when you've got stuff to haul for the family, things of that nature. It's a very well-priced vehicle for what it is, for the amount of stuff it actually hauls. But you know what? It does it in such a way that you're very comfortable and such that, you know what, you're still traveling in style. I have to say, you really are still traveling in style, traveling in this car. Daily drivers, family car, kids, this is your vehicle beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is straight practicality, and it's very efficient, and it's going to get you to your destination safely, because I cannot stress how well FSD actually works, okay? If you've not driven a Tesla in a while, if you've not used FSD in a while on a hardware 4 vehicle, I'm telling you right now, you're missing out. It's big time missing out on the FSD, because these things, it's actually working now, and we are very close to getting to full self-drive unsupervised. So I highly recommend. Well, that was a lot of fun. Look, if you've owned a Model Y in the past, then you're familiar with what the interior should bring and the things that it's capable of. But this Model Y is a far cry from that one. I mean, it does everything that the previous Model Y does, but just better. It's incorporated a lot of the features from the Model 3 Highland, and that has made this a much better car. And in fact, it's improved upon the Highland because now you have the upgraded suspension, the acoustic glass, and all of these other great features in the car that really make this car worth driving and starting. Well, now it's actually a lot of fun to drive. What can I say? So I highly recommend going out and getting one of these. If you want to get about $1,000 off of this vehicle, look in the description below. You can use my referral code. We also have some great discounts on other Tesla accessories down there. Go ahead and take a look at those real quick. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know what you think about the Juniper. If you have one, let me know. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, this has been a lot of fun, and we'll talk to you again soon. Peace.